Yo, do your thing, Lee. Boom. It's Tuesday morning. Here we go. Church, what's happening now? Move your fingers. Watch your wallet. They're pickpocketing people. Coachella. Church of what's happening now, coming at you. April 25th, 2017. Go! Uncle Joe here with my main man of death, Lee Syatt, over there coughing up lungs.
Well, you give me the same bong hits that you take. I need to take
No,
like
no,
light.
no. I
I see all these
ones.
people online taking bong hits, and they go, and they take like a little puff of a cloud, and they don't. I need to start doing that.
Those are the same people who get allergies. They put knee pads on when they ride bicycles. They don't take a chance. You gotta take a chance when you smoke reefer. Columbus did, all right?
I'm taking a chance. You never take a break. You make everyone feel like every time you call, it's like I have to. Even at night, sometimes I'm like, you call, I have to have some work I was doing or something. Like you're always doing something.
Well, I break up the day into 8 pieces. You know what I'm saying? So you do
8 pieces.
You do an hour and a half here, an hour and a half there, an hour and a half here, an hour and a half there. You go to write for an hour and a half. You're outside in the sun. You come back. I go on the computer. I sit down later on. I send emails in the morning. Your day's always organized, so you don't rot to death.
Right.
I don't try to do 3-hour chunks. When I was trying to write this special those months, I had that back pain. It was because I was sitting.
Oh, really?
Because I was sitting in chairs at Denny's. I was going to coffee shops. I was going to bars. I was always sitting down writing, so I had to figure something out. So now I just do it in short spurts because it drives me crazy anyway. I'd rather write a paragraph and get up and take a walk than sit there for 4 hours and burn out.
Yeah, it's hard. My hardest part is getting started. Once I'm working, I'm fine, but I think that's why people love Adderall so much. And I never tried it, and maybe I should have. But like, I'll sit there for 8 hours doing like spinning pens, doing anything but the work I'm supposed to be doing.
No, sure. Who the fuck you think you're dealing with? I was like that too for a while, and I didn't need Adderall. I just needed to eat. So when you need to eat. And by that time, I had been arrested in New Jersey already.
That's what I'm saying. You
for
might
possession of stolen tools.
stolen tools.
Yeah, like burglary tools. So I had already been arrested in Jersey, and now I got arrested in New York a month later. But I'm getting out of there on my own recognizance because I told them I'd been arrested in Jersey, so everybody knew. They knew how to find me.
You almost have the whole tri-state area.
Yeah, so I almost have the whole tri-state area. So now I got to go to court in New York City, and I walk in there, and the dude goes, boom, deferred sentence. So help me God. They go, all right, go see the court clerk. I went to see the court clerk. She gave me like 3 sheets of paper. One of them had a number. And he goes, call this number between 48 hours or there will be an arrest warrant put on you. And I went home and I called the guy the next morning. Why wait the 48 hours? I called him the next morning. I called him like 4 times, left messages, called his receptionist, and they said, he'll get back to you in time. He called me up and he goes, what's going on with your life? I told him. He goes, was this your first arrest? No, I got arrested the month before. This is all done on the phone, dog. I'm in shock. I thought I had to hang up, and he was giving me an address to go report to. He goes, this is what I want you to do. What's today's date?
That's kind of scary.
And that was it. And we did that. We did that maybe 3 or 4 times. And he goes, listen.
Your probation's over?
Yeah, don't call no more.
Are you sure you weren't calling? It sounds like you were calling one of your buddies.
No, we just call him and talk to him.
It is kind of crazy when you think of like, just if you like going into a restaurant. And I guess obviously not everyone who's on probation is a terrible person, but you don't know who's in, like, everyone just walking around. They just have to call a probation officer once a month.
Well, now it's completely different.
Oh, okay.
Now probation is a little bit more monitored. You know, probation is what I call a rope. When I tell you I'm going to give that person a rope,
right,
that's probation. That means that you're going to hang yourself with it or you're going to pull yourself in. Like 7 out of 10 times when they give you probation, not even, no, I'm lying. I say 6 out of 10 times. When you get probation, you get arrested.
Let me see if I can Google it.
Yeah, it's a tremendous risk. I had no idea what I was selling. There was a sheet of paper, and they tell you what to read on there.
You have to say the names of the things or something.
Yeah, it's a hot seller, and you compare it to something. I don't remember. I don't remember nothing, Lee.
I like the cinematography in this one.
This is 98, 97. I don't know nothing. But anyway, to make a long story short, across from there was a building. that today is gorgeous. But in '98, when I got here, I remember pulling in into the underground parking, and I'm like, oh my God. When we walked up the step, there was little condoms.
At least it had parking.
I'm like, Jesus. Yeah, but no, they rob your car. What good is having parking if you're going to rob a car? And we'd walk up the steps to this elevator. Then you pressed it and you went upstairs. And the whole building, you know the building we were in on Lancashire?
Right.
That's what it was.
But worse.
That's my agency. People were taking naked pictures in there.
Oh.
They had private investigators in there. You know, it was just a greasy building. And here's the agency. And I open up the door with my manager at the time. And he goes, listen to me. It's not the agency. It's the agent. He goes, excuse me. Excuse me. He goes, this lady. He goes, I've been here and I've been there and I got my own management company. And this lady is a pit bull.
Jesus. And yeah, I guess it really doesn't matter.
Which lady?
But it's scary.
It didn't matter. Like she called in. She had been at a big agency for like 10 years. She knew everybody in town. And one day she got sick and tired of wearing a dress. She was on my phone every day pushing me. And she specialized in comedy character actors. So her and I clicked right off the bat. We must have booked 15 things together. That's how good and precise she was.
I'm surprised she's not still one of your agents.
Why you giggling, Lee?
Lulu Plus.
Hulu.
Gratis.
Hulu. What Lulu?
2 semanas.
Hulu. HULU+.com. Moves even then. Like I was here for maybe a year and I popped that Taco Bell commercial. That Taco Bell commercial was huge. It was everywhere. Did they see me? For a split second, if you had an eagle eye and contact lenses, binoculars, and a NASA telescope, that's the only way you could see me in this commercial. But guess what? Way before the computer, I told everybody at that store. And then people would come up to me and go, I saw you in that, I saw you in that. So it was really crazy, Lee. You'd have to be that fast to see me. But that was the first thing I booked. I shot the pilot for CBS. And then I popped basketball. So this was, I remember still auditioning for basketball, calling him afterward and going, you're not going to believe what happened. I just auditioned for basketball. And he goes, listen, if you get that movie, that's going to be good for you. Where's Tony Bennett? That weed was strong tonight.
Yes, it was.
Somebody. 22 to life, no parole. You understand me, Lisa? What's going on? We hung out in the same clique, and we liked Chinese food, and we would go to White Castle at night, and we giggled. And she had a boyfriend, and I had whatever I had going on. But I kind of took an interest in her, and we became friends. We kept it at that. So, then 2 nights before I left, it was like a Tuesday, I saw her out. And I pulled her outside. I go, listen, do me a favor. Don't say nothing to nobody. And she was cool. Like, I'm going to Colorado with Jimmy Burkle.
You weren't worried about her ratting you out or people finding you?
No. I trusted her that much, man. I trusted her that much. At that time, I knew that even if she said something, nobody was going to take a helicopter to Colorado to come get me. Nobody was taking a plane to Colorado. When you said the word Colorado, those people in those days, you might as well tell them Jupiter. It's the same distance in there. I thought I was going to get a job bartending, or I could be the life of the party and pour drinks and make $200-300 a night and do that 3-4 nights a day and snort coke and wear like a vest and try to be cool with the ladies, but that never panned out for your Uncle Joey.
That plane really does.
Nah, every job I got, they made me work like on off days. Like I had a good job as a bartender, but it wasn't the bartending I necessarily wanted to do. I wanted to do small pub type bartending where you know everybody, but it didn't really matter, Lee.
In my head, by the time I'm 54, I want to have some time where it's a little bit more relaxed.
Well,
like
let's worry about that when you get to 54.
Right, yeah, I'm not that worried about
right now. Worry about when you're 28. That's the other thing. Whenever you think ahead of time, all that thinking I did was a waste of time because I never thought about the podcast. I never even saw it coming, and here we are 5 years later. So don't think about nothing because you never know what life's got down the corner. As long as you stay positive and you're willing to try new things, you never know, Lee. You understand me? Sure. Now, talking about working hard, you need to rest. Night after night, two people lay in the same bed like two mooks. But when it comes time to buy a new mattress, only one gets their way. Until now, introducing Helix Sleep, where you can buy mattress online, customized for both of you. Lee, what are you giggling about, Lee?
I'm just giggling. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, you're enjoying it. All right. That's what I need, for you to have an enjoyment over here while I'm trying to read and struggle here. I'm looking at Lee, and Lee's looking sharp tonight. He's got a blue sweater on. His beard is tight. He's got a few spots on his head, but when doesn't he have some ailment? It's either a spot in his head or the fucked eyebrow or the ingrown toenail on the eyeball. It's always something with this poor guy. Anyway, but what Lee is sporting with all new fairness is a beautiful MVMT watch. There you go. I want to thank you, savages, for always being there for us. Tonight we decided just to go old school, chit-chat, see what's on each other's mind, be very je ne sais quoi, if I like to say. Thank you for the love. You know we love you. But anyway, I'm great to be here. Lee Syatt, what's happening?
I had a great weekend. I went to a minor league baseball game. You made fun of me for. I did something weird today. I went swimming. I took swimming classes as a kid, and I know I physically know how to swim, but I could only do like one length at a time, and I was out of breath. I ended up doing 5 total, but it took me like 30 minutes. I'd take breaks, and my legs almost collapsed in the pool. I've never been that sore immediately during a workout.
You know, with swimming, it's all form, and that's what people don't realize. With everything, when you really come to think about it, it's so much form. But swimming, like powerlifting, it's all a form where you're going to hurt yourself. I always tell people, if you get into powerlifting or kettlebells, do it the first time with somebody who really knows them and could watch you so you don't hurt yourself. Because once you hurt yourself with those, with swimming, I did the same thing. I was going to get locked up. I wanted to be in the best shape I could be in.
Right.
And I thought I knew what I knew. And it took her like 6 weeks to reteach me how your legs have to be straight. Your hips have to be up a little bit because your legs have to be on top of the wall. These are all things that require strength. And you have to develop that strength over time. So it's not going to happen in one day.
I have the same weakness on the front. My left doesn't barely goes up. My right goes up like a champ, but my left is like a little...
You have to get a kickboard, a paddle board, and hold on to
it.
And just do 20 minutes of kicking. Your body will automatically teach itself how to float above so your hips will be a certain way so you'll kick naturally. Because that's going to be the clinker. You'll see that for you to kick naturally how they want you to kick, your knees have to be slightly bent. There's little things that people do that make you look like a cheap fuck that'll drive a woman crazy. A woman wants security, and here you want to play it cheap with her security in the beginning. There's no cheapness in the security in the beginning. In the beginning, if the tab is $20, you're leaving a $10 tip because you're trying to impress this woman. Or even a $5 tip. You know, it shows that you care. It shows that you're cool with women.
Oh, I'm a big tipper, but like when I was broke, I don't know. I guess I didn't see a problem with it.
You don't want to take a Groupon on your first date or your first 2 dates.
Yeah, maybe not the first date, I guess.
Unless you say it at the table. You know what, man? And then crack a joke. Like, well, I've been single for so long, I've been eating Groupon dinners. And she's like, oh my God, so have I. Maybe we should get a Groupon for 2. Yes, let's do it and beat the system. Okay. Now you found yourself a half a mutt, just like you, that's going to go out and torment waiters. Because even if you get a Groupon at a restaurant,
right,
I always leave the tip to make up the difference.
Oh, and like what it would have cost?
Yeah, like you try to leave the tip to make up the difference. Why are you going to walk around with a hole in your neck? Who's going to invite you to parties? You know what I'm saying? You know what, Man, salesmen at those car lots make a lot of money. I used to make a lot of money. I worked at one of those. I got fired after 3 weeks. But those 3 weeks I was there, I made like $4,000 or something.
Jesus, have you seen that video? I don't know where it is. It's this black guy who's running a car lot, but it's like all beaters cars. He's like, I don't want to hear about the radiator in 3 weeks. I don't care about this. Like it's just you're buying.
Just listen, you're buying a car. Some people want a car for $800. What do you think $800 gets you in a car? 2 seats, a broken glass, and a headlight with tape on it. But that's what you could afford, and that's what you need. You just need a car to get you back and forth. When I first started comedy on the triple runs, I got myself a Datsun B210 with air conditioning and AM/FM cassette. What? I don't need power windows. I just need 4 tires and 4 brakes.
Isn't that the one that the body split in half, though?
A couple times. A couple things happened to that car.
I guess that's what happens. How much fun did you have driving all over the country? I mean, I know you were working, and I know you were probably broke, but it just seems like so much fun just to get to like drive around the country.
We talked about this on the show a few weeks ago. I'm very fortunate that I got to know every nook and cranny. You have no idea when you drive 70% of it. Like you figure...
You really get to see the country.
You get to see different people, some that are just god-awful and some that are just tremendous for dirt cheap. You get to meet personalities, in different places. I've been to Army bases. I think it was fantastic. Do I remember 90% of the people I met? No. There's times I think of certain people that I met and I go, I wonder where they are now, I was living my life. I was enjoying myself around my friends, but I was hurting, man.
Same thing with Chris Cornell. It's always the outside looks great.
I was hurting. I mean, I was dying inside. By that time, I was going home at night, and before I would go to where I was staying, I would walk up to my old house and just look at the windows and see if maybe she went home and she didn't call me. It was just a psychological fight that I was doing. Nobody understands unless you've been through this, So one of the best and worst times in my life was after my mother died.
The best?
Well, I got to really experience people. I was learning something that most people don't learn till they're way out of high school and maybe in college. And when my mother died, I started experiencing people, at the lowest common denominator. Like these were people that were my friends, and now they've become my brothers. And I was having a great time hanging out with Didi Quintero at that time. At that time, it started at school, and we walked home together, or he went to wrestling practice, and I went home and hung out and did what I did and put money together to get a package that night, and I team up with him about 7:30. I'm going to give you a starter package free.
Sample pack.
FREE. Sample pack. You got 3 little bags. So everybody has that. It's the guy that tells the wife and strings her along that he's a millionaire. Then marries her and he makes this whole thing of how she can't see his books. No, you got to be honest with them. That's one of the white lies you'll never get out of. It's about telling them that you're something that you're not. In that sense, I was a dentist. Nah, I'm really a dental assistant.
Is how someone could do something. It happens all the time. If you find out that a principal gets fired because they fake their resume or just something weird. Like I don't understand how people could do that. And I guess before the internet you could get away with it, but not now.
I faked my resume for 15 years, but it wasn't for
high level jobs.
No. Could I have done it and maybe got away with it? Yeah. Because you got to assume they don't check. You have to assume they don't check.
I've never had
You have to assume maybe they'll call a personal reference.
Okay, yeah, but when your friend know, or what do you have to tell before you pull the George Costanza and tell your friend to be like, yeah, I know how to drive a forklift, or yeah, I know how to did you ever lie like that? Yeah, I have this certification, or.
I think I lied once or twice when it came to work. But if you look somebody in the eye and you go, listen, bro, I don't know how to do that, but I'm willing to learn.
Oh yeah, they love it.
They love it. So that's how I overcame that stuff.
I remember having to like sweep out. I remember one July 4th having to sweep out a storeroom at a CVS. But I miss those kind of jobs too. To be honest with you,
it's no pressure job. You go in there, you get a salary, you know what you're gonna walk with. You know, for you, a guy like you go to 3 or 4 movies a week, don't you?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
when
you go to 3 or 4 movies
I would
a
go
week.
every day.
Every fucking day you go see a movie. So for a guy like you think you're getting 200 a week just in the movies and the Raisinets. Just in the movie and the Raisinets, you think you're getting a bargain.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I could have somehow, I think that's the job. If I could have somehow stayed in being a teenager, but could live on what I was making at a movie theater, it was the most fun I ever had. And those people are just
listen,
my best friends.
I had a lot of jobs that were fun. But those jobs that are usually fun, you pay your rent, you make your car payment, and you struggle the rest of the month. That's the problem with fun jobs. And one day you come to that realization, you go, Jesus Christ, my uncle just offered me a job at $15 an hour, but I got a job that I get $8.50 an hour, and it's so much fun. And you know, that's what happens. And after 2 or 3 years, you know what? If I want to have fun, I got to skateboard and put a blindfold on and go downhill. As long as I had coke and weed, I didn't need money in my pocket. I could always get a free drink at the comedy store. As long as I had coke and weed, everything else fell into place.
That's like a motivational poster.
Listen, man, I know a lot of you are at home. You're sitting there, you're listening to the podcast, you're thinking about the summer and what you want to do or whatever. Lyft is a ride-sharing company that believes in treating its people better. You know what? I need to make a lot of money. Then you know what? Start drinking coffee and get out there. /Joey, $500 new driver bonus. /Joey, I'm gonna get you a $500 new driver bonus. When I called you yesterday, what did you get from Blue Apron?
Oh, I got a great box this week. We made spicy chicken tenders with mashed potatoes and green beans.
Okay.
This on Friday night. It was delicious.
So you only get the deliveries that you want when you want them. Collard greens and Thai basil.
Oh no!
Church of what's happening now. Here you go. 3 little hack chicks in the background. That's all they say. Give me love. Give me all that you got. The Church of what's happening now. Here we go. Because how you doing? Your host, Joey Diaz. My main man in the co-host chair. The one and only, the ultimate, the flying Jew of death, Mr. Lee Syatt.
We learned something very important today, Joey.
No, we learned something this week. Never to put a guest on here that can't handle an edible, because now we're put in a bad position. I didn't book all the guests. A lot of people out of town. This is one of those podcasts. We're going to chit-chat about a few things that have been on my mind lately. My agent, Gordon Warnock. I've been talking with him for 3 years. We still haven't made $1 together. And, you know, he's been trying to talk me to write a book for the last 3 years. And I've started 6 times. And because of my writing insecurities and the whole thing, you know, it's taken years. And in a way, I wanted it this way. I really wanted to think this out. But the bottom line is, last month, I was doing really well on this page, LitLift. What I basically did was an idea a friend gave me that he said, just write a sentence every day. Start with that. That's what I did. Every day I would go back, write a sentence. Then I got to the point where I couldn't wait to go to it. And I would write a few sentences a day and clean up. And I'd put together about 2.5 chapters. And last month, one day, I go to just write in there, and the website is down. And this went on for about 3 or 4 days. And my wife, you know, she's a private investigator. She went online and something happened with LitLift, but it took my book. So now I got to start from scratch. So to put myself in a position where I had to do this, I'm hiring somebody for the month of August. And pretty basically, I only have San Francisco and Ontario in the month of August. So that's 1 week I have to be on a plane. And for 3.5 weeks, we're just going to write this, the 3 or 4 chapters to get in advance and to see what we have to do. You know, it's a good learning experience for both of us. He's from NYU. But the bottom line was that throughout this whole 3 years, the thing that's driven me not to even send him this stuff is fear. If you got the syringe, take a chance. You know, I'm sick and tired of dealing with fear. And I dealt with it for 30 years, and then I started doing little things about it. Just little things. But anyway, to get back to this book, Gordon sent me a book. I always get little emails from people, and they send it to the webpage. And you know what, man? I know that a lot of you guys are aspiring writers. We'll just talk with writers this week. But this applies for everything. You know, he sent me a book called The Art of War for Writers. Okay? Now, I've read half of it already. But there was something I read that I had to write down on a piece of paper. And let me tell you what this is. All writers, without exception, are scared to death. Some simply hide it better than others. That's the story of my life. You know, I've just hidden my fears, and I've gotten away with it. And I know a lot of you guys, whenever we talk about the subject fear, I get a lot of emails 3-4 days later that now they understood what was going on with them, and we haven't touched on it in a while. And I told Lee, Lee, you know what, man, I've been getting more and more emails from writers. And
does it just give you confidence, like overcoming a fear? Is it like...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, fear is not being prepared. Once you feel prepared, you won't have any more fear. It's so weird.
You think that's the root of all fear?
All right, let me tell you something. I really don't like auditioning the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
You know why? Because I can't see.
That reason?
Yeah, I can't see. But what that means, when you go into an audition, you got to either have glasses on or know the lines by heart. I mean, backwards and frontwards.
Which isn't always possible.
But after I've lost so many roles from not knowing the lines and going in there with glasses, that I don't really like auditioning anymore.
Okay.
It's not my strong fit anymore. I'm just going to read for this guy. That fear was ready to start coming up, but I put it in its place because of the confidence. If I do something with my life, then what? Then I got to, you know what I'm saying? I had to give up my little party, and I finally gave up my little party. And now I could look at myself in the mirror, and I got a little bit more confidence, and, you know, it all goes hand in hand. It all goes hand in hand, Lee. So doubt, resistance, you know, it's levels. It goes from doubt to, should I do this now? It goes from resistance to doubt. I'm sorry.
We were talking, and it's a overused topic on all podcasts now, like how people are mean online. And the thing that got me over it, and the thing that is really the worst part about doubt for me, is I'm meaner to myself in my head than anyone could ever be.
Me too.
Over email.
Me too.
Like it's terrible.
Me too. And I've been mean. You know, when I have doubt, I look at the doubt. I look at the reason. And if the reason's good enough, I let doubt win.
Oyster Cult. Uh-oh.
Anxiety attack or whatever, he cares, you know. And so today I pulled him aside. I go, you doing the competition on Saturday? He goes, nah, I don't think so. I go, listen, man, you're here with family. Even if you have an anxiety attack, you're here with family. Nothing bad could happen to you. It's not like you're in Orange County and have an anxiety attack in front of 400 people. Here, it's your family. The reason why I go to Alberto's is because it's family. If I get an anxiety attack and fall backwards, I know Alberto's going to take good care of me.
Right.
He'll give me mouth to mouth, ice on my chest, whatever it needs.
Whatever it takes,
you're with
yeah.
family. You know what I'm saying? People ain't going to be scared. They know what your ailments are. They know they watched you breathing for the last year. They know, and even Alberto appreciates what I've been doing lately. I take the middle one, then I end with one, then I stretch. He's like, bro, that's really good that you're doing it from that perspective. It makes you come in here an extra week. You know, you learn how to work smarter. When we've been doing the podcast,
right,
we've learned how to work smarter. That's what people do. But by not doing it, you're not going to ever learn to do it correctly.
Okay, gotcha.
And these all go back to fear. And what? Okay, you went to college, you're an intelligent dude. How many people want to go to college, get a DA, want to be a DA, they come out. Paula realized it after what, 90 days.
Yeah.
Paula's not stupid. She goes, you know what? This is going to be tough. I'm going to have to interview and interview again. and it might not be LA. And I guess you told me one time that it wasn't for another 2 years.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's like
a weird process. And then you and I were talking here one day, and we were talking about immigration. And I go, Lee, just drop it on her. She speaks Spanish. You know.
Yeah.
And sometimes what you thought you were going to do is not what you thought you were going to do. You're really doing it, but not just that field.
Right.
I always thought I was going to be a stand-up.
Really?
I never knew I was going to be in a movie or a TV show. I told you, if I thought that one day you would become famous and go, Joe, you want to be an extra in my movie? Sure, because I thought I would only be an extra. Now I'm acting with people. I've acted with well-known people.
Okay. Did anyone tell you to be an actor when you moved here, or did you do that on your own?
The first manager I had said he was going to send me out an audition.
Yeah.
But he goes, commercials are paying. Now, I never knew about commercials. That's how negligent I was to this whole art game out here. I'd never even thought about commercials, even though you see them every day of your life.
Right. Who acts in those?
And it was film and television. So I thought, oh, well, I won't do any of those. And I came here in January, and by the end of February, I had the best commercial agent at the time, because they all shift.
Oh, yeah,
approached me, and they called my manager, and next thing I had a commercial agent. And if I signed with them on Thursday, I had a commercial that Monday. It was Popeye's Chicken.
Oh, shit.
I went over by Sunset, the bay, right 2 blocks before Fairfax.
Okay.
Going west. There's an audition studio there that's still there. That was my first commercial audition. And I remember walking in there and there being 60 people. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, watch me. Watch my watch my smoke.
Since birth.
I want you to focus on the 30-day, the 90-day, and the 120. You know what I'm saying? If you need to get a notebook, that's where you start next Thursday. And every week, bop, 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 bop. And I write everything. If I'm angry about something now, I take the notebook, I open it up, and I write the whole story out. And then I read it and I go, what am I mad about? I wish I would have known this when I was 29 years old. I wish I would have known these things, that there's no payoff in worrying. All I want you to do is do. Think about how you're going to do it. And do it. Don't think about nothing. Like
Oh,
this.
no.
Like, for example, you'll come to me and go, oh, this weekend I bought a house, Joey. I'm redoing the downstairs bathroom. I'll say to you, using a plumber. And you'll go, no. I went online and yelped. And this dude said to buy his cassette and do it. All of a sudden, midway during your tiling,
Right, yeah.
you don't know what you're doing.
No.
Now you have to call the plumber, and you have to pay him to do. If you paid the plumber, those type of people come in. New construction, you build. I tell you to come in and build this wall, 12 by 14, all the same. That's what you do. Build me 22 of those, 22 apartments. That's what you do. With remodeling and roofing, like my brother-in-laws. Every time I went on a roof with those guys, I learned something. Like, I would sit, and everybody would say, listen, if you work with those 2 dudes, watch them and listen to what they say. It's the small details of their job that really, like when flashing means when you run into piping and air conditioners on a roof. If you don't do those right, they leak, and it causes a tremendous problem. They did that extra time that people don't do to get it out of the way. But they faced like when I worked with them, I always learned something. And when I come back, Gray would be waiting for me, or I would go, Gray. And she would come running from wherever she was. And I had treats for her at the top of the stairs. And she'd walk up to the top of the stairs with me. And I'd give her the treats, and I'd pet her for 15, 20 minutes. And I'd go inside with my other cats. And then at night, in the morning, I'd come out, and there she was right there. Right there to hang with me. I remember one day she disappeared for a while. And I was concerned. Like, I kept asking my wife, you seen Gray? They go, come on, let's get in the car. And I saw Gray 2 blocks away. And I go, Gray. And the only way we could get her home is if I got out of the car and she followed me home. And the owner of the house was like, I've had this cat for 6 years. This cat don't like nobody. So when she got attacked by the skunk or whatever attacked her, she ended up at the hospital with the infection.
No.
She couldn't live back outside again. So she came to me. She goes, I'm either going to put her in the pound or give her away. Do you want her? She loves you. And I go, no, I'm taking her. And I took Gray. And that was how long? And I'm looking at her today. She's gained 10 pounds. She's clean. She's happy. I saw her kissing Dimmy yesterday. I saw her next to me, and I saw Dimmy walk up to me in the office. And they looked at each other, but they both kissed each other. She likes Dimmy. She likes Harry. She don't like Superbad. She's constantly attacking Superbad. She stays away from the girl. You want to earn more money, right? The holidays are coming. Believe it or not, it's July, but the holidays are coming. Go to Lyft.com right now, /Joey today. Let me ask you something. Times are tough. You got a business? With ZipRecruiter, you can post your jobs to 100+ job sites. I love you guys with all my heart. Without you, I got guts, all right? Get ready to light your wig on fire. We're going deep into the murky waters. I love you guys.